For generations, we've had this really solid idea of what it means to be literate. It's been the bedrock of our whole education system. But now, a new force has shown up and it's making us question everything. So the big question is, what does it even mean to be literate now, in the age of AI? So let's just start with that basic question. What does it actually mean to be literate? I mean, on the surface, it sounds pretty simple, right? I'm willing to bet an answer popped into your head like instantly, and it probably looks a whole lot like this. Yep, I bet you were thinking of something just like this. This is the classic, the old school definition of literacy. It's the one that's guided our schools for decades. But here's the thing educators are pointing out now. In a world that's changing this fast, our definitions, they've got to change right along with it. Because let's be real, this is our new reality. AI, it isn't just another tool like a calculator or a spell checker. No, this is a fundamental shift. It's something that's challenging our deepest assumptions about what knowledge even is and what skills really matter. And that brings us right to the heart of the problem, a concept that experts are calling cognitive offload. Just think about that for a second. Cognitive offload. What happens when the tools we use every day actually start doing the thinking for us? Okay, so take a look at this list. Some of this stuff is going to look super familiar, right? I mean, we've been offloading spelling and grammar checks for years, but look at the jump in complexity. We've gone from a machine correcting a simple typo to a machine composing an entire essay or generating a perfect bibliography in like 2 seconds. That is a massive, massive leap. And this question, which came directly from an educator, man, it just gets right to the heart of the anxiety that so many of us are feeling. If the tools are doing all the heavy lifting, how on earth do we make sure our kids are still doing the actual thinking? So that's the new puzzle we have to solve. It is now ridiculously easy to produce something, an essay, a report, you name it, without actually having to think deeply about it at all. And this separation, this split between production and thinking, that's the core problem. And that one simple fact, it changes literally everything for education. Okay, so if the old skills are getting automated away, what's supposed to take their place? What are the new essential skills we need in this totally new landscape? Well, educators are starting to point to a whole new set of priorities. And what's really interesting here is that these skills aren't just about, being good at using the tech. They're about things that are uniquely human. Things like adaptability, curiosity, the ability to think on your own without a screen. And maybe most important, having the critical judgment to look at what an AI spits out and say, wait a minute, is that right? It's funny, the futurist Alvin Toffler basically called this decades ago. He said the illiterate of the 21st century wouldn't be people who can't read or write. No, he said they'd be the ones who can't learn, unlearn, and then relearn. And as this quote makes pretty clear, that time is officially here. Adaptability is the new name of the game. But that leads to a really tough but totally necessary conversation. I mean, think about it. If we're going to add all these new skills into an already jam-packed curriculum, well, something's got to go. We just can't do it all. So let's just be blunt about it. With AI taking over more and more tasks, and with only so many hours in a school day, what should we just stop teaching? What's no longer the best use of a student's time and energy? Citing sources is the perfect example. Come on, we all remember spending hours learning the painstaking, nitpicky formatting for MLA or APA style. Well, now an AI can do that perfectly in less than a second. So the whole focus shifts. Instead of teaching how to format the citation, we can now spend that valuable time teaching why we cite sources in the first place. The important stuff. How to build on the work of others, how to establish your own credibility, why plagiarism is a big deal. That's the leap from a boring, lower-order task to real, higher-order thinking. And that's the real goal here. That's the payoff. When we let the machines handle the grunt work, we free up our own minds for what actually matters, the deep, critical, and creative thinking that only we humans can do. Okay, so all of this, it's all leading to one really powerful, unifying idea. An idea that could become the new North Star for education in this age of AI. And Dr. Sabakadwai puts it perfectly. She suggests that we're entering an age where agency will matter just as much as literacy or numeracy once did. I mean, just pause and think about that for a second. Agency, on the same level as reading and math. That is a profound shift in thinking. So what exactly is agency? It's actually a pretty simple but incredibly powerful concept. It's the ability to act, to influence your world, and to create something new. And when you think about it that way, it totally reframes the entire goal of learning, doesn't it? It's not just about what you know to pass a test anymore. It's about what you can do with what you know. It's about developing the ability to go out there and solve real problems, to make a real difference. And when we decide to put agency right at the center of this whole conversation, it completely flips our perspective on what it even means to be literate in the first place. See, the old question used to be something like, how can we use agency to help students become more literate? But the new and much more powerful question flips that completely on its head. Now we ask, how does literacy help students develop more agency? In other words, the entire point of being literate in this new AI world isn't just to know things. It's to empower you to act, to influence, and to create. So we'll leave you with this one final thought to chew on. In a world where AI can produce an answer to almost anything in a split second, maybe the most important human skill, the real core of this new literacy, isn't about having all the answers anymore. Maybe it's about learning how to ask much, much better questions. What do you think?